everybody. Welcome back to the Mind of Cy Marie. Today, we're so excited to have a special guest joining us for an author spotlight. She is a debut author. I'm really excited to have her here today. And she just put out the new novel, Puppe, The Men of Waidmann, Book One. If I said that wrong, let me know. Anyways, please give
Actually, you did.
please give a
It's
warm welcome to the incredibly talented Summer Waters.
Hi everybody. Glad to be here.
Okay, so again, thank you so much for taking the time with us on this Saturday afternoon. So, first, a little bit of an introduction here for the listeners. Tell us a little bit about yourself and who you are.
Okay, so I'm Summer Waters. I'm a proud aunt of a niece and two nephews, 110, 8. I am, as you mentioned, the author of the debut novel Puppe by me, the Men of Waidmann series. I'm learning the German language, so that's pretty fun. And I'm not sure what else to tell about myself. I'm usually not one for sharing a lot of about. I'm pretty like kind of closed when it comes to that type of thing. I never know what to share.
Well, whatever what you did just now was just enough. Whatever you feel keen on telling us. And I understand what it's like to be in that new, not sure kind of status. I think that everybody going through their debut kind of experiences that, and it's a learning curve, so it's fine.
For sure.
So, having just launched your debut novel, which is incredibly exciting, what are your ambitions for your writing career? Are you already dreaming of what comes next?
For sure. I'm always dreaming of what comes next. Like, I'll start writing something, and if I have a side character that I absolutely adore and I want to work with more, I will sit there for days while writing, just dreaming of what I want to do with that character.
So, what have you written, and where can listeners buy or see it?
Okay, so I've written the book Pupa, and readers can get that on Amazon. I can send you the link so you can provide that in the show notes. And right now, I am currently writing the second novel in the series.
So, let's dive into the book a little bit. Who is your favorite character and why?
Oh my God, that's a tough question. I have two. I would have to say Tobias because he's every woman's dream man. And I would have to say Christine because I poured a lot of myself into that character specifically. So when you read it, you can kind of see a lot of me in her.
And since this is the Men of Waidmann Book One, I have to ask, what is the next book about, and when do you think it will be ready for the public?
So the second book is actually Justin's story. For those that have read it, they know who Justin is. For those that haven't, I will kind of give a quick feedback on that. Um, the main villain is named Victoria, and Justin is her husband. So book two is about him and his happily ever after the events of book one. That one should be released. I am hoping and praying for January.
That's not too far off.
Nope,
So,
not too far away.
so let's talk about the craft of writing. What genres do you write in?
Romance specifically. But the series is a mixture of different subgenres of romance.
So,
We're looking at like enemies to lovers and friends to lovers and that type of deal. So we're looking at different, I guess, tropes is more appropriate.
that's what I was just about to ask. So, it's what was your trope tree, but you answered it for me. So,
Well,
my next
book one,
question.
the trope for book one was dance to friends to lovers. My editor shortened it to fans to lovers. So I mean, there we go.
Okay. So, how much research did you do for this book?
Oh my God. We'll put it this way. There were times I should have been writing, and instead, for 8 hours solid, I was doing like nonstop research. So I would probably say hours upon hours, sometimes days upon days, a lot.
And for your own writing process, at what point did you decide you wanted to become a writer?
I would probably have to say March 14th of this year. I had had a dream a night, like the night prior, And I woke up the next day and was like, I have to write this down because if I don't, I'll forget. And it started off as something that I thought would be probably a short story at best. So then when we reached novella stage, I was like, okay, so this is where we're going with this. And then I still had a lot more to tell. So I would probably say March 14th.
Wow. It's rare that I've met an author that can actually say the exact date, but that is really cool, and
Yeah,
I'm really happy to hear that it just kind of took over you and just poured out. That's always an awesome experience.
for
So,
sure.
why do you write?
I write mostly for myself because I have so many good stories I need to tell. It's very therapeutic for me because it's a way of me of to get my trauma out of my brain and onto the page, so that way I can kind of learn how to cope. Um, so it's for me first, but then it's for the reader second.
So, let's talk some about logistics. Do you write
Okay.
full time or part time? And do you write every day, 5 days a week, or just as you can and whenever?
So it started off as part time, but then I kind of sat my husband down and was like, okay, I can't see myself doing anything else in this life. I just can't. Is it okay if I do this full time? And he has agreed. So I do it full time. So I write 8 hours a day, 5 days a week.
That's a pretty good method. So, where do you draw your inspiration from?
Man, I would have to say from one of my all-time favorite bands because that's what ultimately kind of inspired this series was my all-time favorite band. I was listening to their music and inspiration hit.
That's always awesome to hear. I have a lot of friends who music is just a really big part of the routine. And I've met, of course, those authors that need quiet, but I think the predominant ones that seem to be orbiting my circle, they like music in addition to the craft of writing. So I really relate to that.
Oh yeah, I have to have the music blasting all the time.
Do you work from an outline or a plot, or do you prefer to just see where an idea leads you?
Um, Actually, I kind of start off with an outline at first to kind of get the story started. And once the story gets started, my characters kind of then start taking over my mind and they're like, okay, you had your time to write what you wanted. Now we're taking over. So maybe if I outline maybe the first, I don't know, maybe 10 chapters. And then that's when my characters really start taking hold. And then I just drop the outline and I let them take over and see where they go.
Okay, so did you experience any writer's block at any point while writing this book, and how did you handle that? Do you have any techniques or tips that you want to share with us on, overcoming that for anyone who struggles?
I think I mean I may have hit the proverbial writer's block ball maybe once. And the best way that I handled it was I just picked. Okay, so they say read what you write because sometimes that'll bring the inspiration in, and that's what I did. Is I hit the wall at least once, from my recollection. It may have been more, but I only remember it hitting it once. And I pulled out as many Rockstar romance novels as I could. And it was always the smuttier the better because I'm in that genre. So I pulled out maybe two or three and I read those. And it kind of hit that inspiration. And that's when I was like, okay, let's get back into this because I have an idea now.
So, in your own reading, do you prefer ebooks or traditional paper and hardback books?
I love both, but I deal with chronic migraines. So when I'm having a really bad migraine, I have to have the paperback or hardcover in my hands. But if I'm not, I usually read ebooks. But let's be real, there's nothing like having that actual hard copy in your hand so you can sniff it before you read it.
Yeah, that's the whole experience and getting the book and everything. I
Yes,
kind of like you. I love books in any essence. I love publishing, but going into a bookstore and then going and getting that book, it's just an experience. It's fun.
standing in that doorway and just sniff until your eyes close and you're like, oh, I'm home. It's the best.
So that brings me to my next question. What book or books are you reading at present?
So I have to be real. Okay, so for those that don't know me personally, that may be listening to this and are new to me, my all-time favorite novel is Pride and Prejudice. Well, my novel has taken the number one spot, so I have been reading my book nonstop since I started writing it. So yesterday was my birthday and the book's release, and my best friend gave me a nice little stack, and one of the books was All He'll Ever Be by Willow Winters, and that's one I've been wanting to read for a while, and now that I own it, I can. So that's what I've been reading is All He'll Ever Be. I put my book aside just for this one.
Well, it's always nice whenever you're just so enamored with your own story that it becomes like so engrossing that you just stay there. But breaking away and kind of shaking it up with some new stories will help keep that creativity flowing, I'm sure. So let's touch
Absolutely.
a little bit on the business side of things. How did you publish this book and why did you choose that route?
I decided to go through. So this was a long process, and you were there for every step of it. So originally, I was going to go wide with this, and a lot of people had suggested going through KDP. So I decided to self-publish because my poor little heart wouldn't have been able to take it if I had gotten a rejection letter because this had all of my heart and soul into it. So I was going to go wide, and then a lot of people suggested like going through KDP. So I went through KDP to do.
So, do you proofread and edit all your own books, or do you have someone to do that for you?
I do I do a good load of the proofreading and the self-editing. Um, just because I do have a professional editor and I want to make things as easy on her as I possibly can. Shout out to Linda. Hi, Linda. But yeah, a good majority of it's done by me, and then the little changes are done by Linda when she goes in for professional.
Well, awesome. So, tell us a little bit about the book cover. Did you design them or have them designed? And do you think the cover plays an important role in the buying process?
My cover was actually done by a cover artist. That was a long process in itself, trying to figure out who was going to do it. But then one of my friends that I'm really close to was like, "I'll do it, I'll do it," and I was like, "Okay, I'm putting this in your hands." So she's the one that created this. So hi, hi, TA Mormon. Just in case you're listening to this, I want to give you a shout out too. But I do believe the cover does play a part because a lot of people tend to like judge books by their covers. They'll see a pretty cover and they'll go, "Oh, that cover's gorgeous. I want to read this." Or they'll see a cover that they feel is less than perfect and they'll go, "That's a hard pass." So I do believe the cover plays a very big part in whether people buy the book and read it or not. Yes, for sure.
Okay, so how do you market your books, and what is your favorite social media platform for connecting with readers?
At first, it was kind of a hard process marketing it and trying to promote it, but I was making little graphics with quotes from the books that I would pick out and be like, okay, this quote is perfect. And then now I have a personal assistant. Again, hi Miranda, if you're listening to this, another shout out. But Miranda has been amazing. She's been putting out marketing material like crazy. So we've been using between my stuff and her stuff, we've been using that to market it. Like my favorites to use are Instagram and Facebook at the moment because that's where a lot of my wide audience is.
So, what are your thoughts on good and bad reviews?
Good reviews, love them. Bad reviews, I also love them in a sense. I refuse to look at them. I made the mistake. The intent was pure and the review was honest, but it gave me a confidence hit. And it was only 3 stars. So after reading a 3 star review that was as honest as it was, it hit me in the confidence. I decided I'm not going to read anything else that's under 4 stars, but I do love them because that gives me the constructive criticism I need to grow as an author. But the good reviews, oh my gosh, I could read those for days.
Well, what is your favorite motivational phrase?
Motivational, what was that?
phrase or like a quote, anything that just
So I have been living off of the phrase never, what was never fret, because this year was hard for writing for me because there was a point where I wanted it published on the 19th of September. And then I had a really bad beta reader that like really tore my book apart. And I was going in and changing everything. But I was living under the phrase never fret because I knew either way it was getting published this year. So I was posting sticky notes all over my house that said it will be published this year, never fret. And eventually I kind of learned that rude criticism is not exactly constructive criticism. So when a lot of people told me to go back to my original because that's what I was proudest of, I still stuck sticky notes up, but they got rid of the it will be published this year. It just stuck with never fret.
oh, I love
So
that.
never fret has been my go-to for this.
We're nearing the end of our time, and all of everything you've shared has been incredibly insightful. So, I got a couple of questions left. First is, what advice would you give to aspiring writers?
My best advice is if you have an idea and you want to make this book happen, do it. Life is too short to sit back and live with the regrets of, oh man, I should have written that book when I had the chance. Don't live with that regret. It's not worth it. If you have an idea and you know you can make this book possible, do it. It is so worth it.
Absolutely, I couldn't agree more. So, Summer, thank you so much again for joining us today. Can you tell us where our listeners can discover more about you and your work?
Absolutely. First off, Amazon for sure. And secondly, if you have Facebook, you can hit me up on Facebook and Instagram. I am also on X, Threads, and Blue Sky.
Perfect. And I will get the links to all of that and put that in the show notes for everyone so you can check out where to follow Summer from here. And again, Summer, thank you for joining me for today and joining and sharing about the incredible journey of making this book a reality. Congratulations to you on your new release and also happy birthday, just to put that out there.
Thank you
Um,
so much.
to the listeners, be sure to pick up her book and follow her work. And thank you again for tuning into the Mind of Cy Marie. I'll see you next time for another episode exploring the stories that shape, challenge, and inspire us all. Thank you again.